Welcome to your favorite home learning program. My name is Mrs. David Kane Ledum Son Bariko. We have basic science today, primary 1 to 3. In our society or environment, we have so many things or objects around us. Some can be living, while some are non-living. So, objects like we have stone, we have human beings, we have animals. All these are what things in our society. So, our topic today is living things and non-living things. Meaning of living things and non-living things. The term living refers to things that are now or once were alive. Those things that have life in them. While non-living things are things that do not have life or was never alive. So, living things and non-living things, they live in our environment. Types of living things. We have plants and we have animals. Then we have living things. There are characteristics of what? Living things. In our environment, living things can grow, living things can move. Living things can move, they can eat. Living things can reproduce. Living things can die. Living things can breathe. Plants has a living things. Earlier I told you we have plants and animals. They are living things we have in our environment. So let's look at plants as a living thing. Plants are living things as animals. Why? They can grow, they can produce, and they can also die. And we have examples of what? Common plants. We have cassava. Cassava is an example of a plant. We have maize, mango, rose flower, cocoyam, sunflower, and we have so many of them. We have orange tree, it's also a plant. We have cashew, we have pawpaw, we have pineapple, so many of them. The features of a plant. A plant has a leaf, fruits, flower, stem, and roots. Reasons why plants are living things. Plants are sensitive to touch or sunlight. Example, mimosa. That is, plants are sensitive to touch or sunlight. For example, a tree or a crop you planted in the room, you will see that the plant tends to move towards sunlight. Why do they move towards sunlight? Because they use sunlight to manufacture their food. So, plants need light and air to survive. Plants have the ability to produce. Plants feed on food substances in the soil. Example, nutrients, minerals, and water. Plants have the ability to do what? To excrete. Plants are able to move their parts and such as what? Other living things. I've explained that in point number 1. Animals as living things. Animals are living things. They occupy the environment with us. And some of these animals are domestic and wild animals. Domestic animals. These are animals that live around us in our environment. For example, dog, goats, sheep. Then we also have what? Duck, cow. All of them are what? Domestic animals. Wild animals. We have the fox, tiger, chimpanzee, squirrel, lion, camel, giraffe, and so on and so forth. Then we have reasons why are animals living. Why are they living as a living thing? Animals can move from place to place. This is called movement. Animals can move from one direction to another. Animals can grow. That is what? Growth. If you give birth to an animal today or a human being, before you know, you start growing. Then animals can respond to stimuli such as touch and pains. Animals feel pains. That is what? Irritability. They feel pains. They respond to touch. If you touch an animal, it will move, it will look, or it will respond immediately to that touch. Animals can do what? Excretion. After eating, they can bring out waste products. Animals feed for survival, that is nutrition. They eat food, they eat different types of food. Animals can also breathe in and out. That is what? Respiration. Non-living things. What are non-living things? Non-living things are things that they don't have what? They don't have what? Life. And they cannot do things like the living things. They are dead. Most of them are, they cannot talk, they cannot move, they cannot do other things like living things. And we have examples of living things. We have stones, chair, clothes, sand, biro, books, television. These are the few ones that I can mention. We have many other ones. We have them shoes, you have your bags. They are all non-living things. The reasons why they are non-living things. Why are they non-living? Number one, they cannot breathe. For example, your biro cannot breathe. Shoes cannot breathe. Bags cannot breathe. All these cannot breathe. Sand cannot breathe. Stones cannot breathe. They cannot reproduce. Your bag or sand, they cannot give birth to younger ones. That is, they cannot do what? Reproduce. Non-living things cannot excrete. They cannot pass feces. They cannot defecate. Why? Because they don't eat. As they don't eat, they cannot pass out for excreta. Non-living things cannot move. Have you seen where a biro moves, or a stone is moving, or sand is moving? They cannot move. If they start moving, it will be, in fact, you will be scared what is really happening. So they cannot also grow. Sand remains the level it is. It cannot grow. Living things cannot, non-living things, they cannot die. They cannot die. They are just like that. They cannot die. Just like living things. You see an animal today, tomorrow you will not see the animal again. But sand remains there. Other non-living things remains the same, the way they are. They cannot do what? Die. Evaluation. List 5 reasons why animals and plants are living. Why are they living things? Why are plants living things? And why are animals living things? Why are they not non-living? You have to state it. Take a book and do what? You write it. Number 1, we said living things can move. Plants, why are they living things? Plants can move. Animals can move. Plants can move their parts. A plant cannot just move, but plants move his parts. Then we said animals can also feed, but no, plants can also what? Feed. So these are the things you should do what? Write. Home tasks. You also do what? Take your book and then draw it. You draw 5 non-living things and then you draw 5 living things in your books. Please don't use the example that I've done. You have to go around, search for more examples of non-living things and living things. You have to write your own. Don't use the example I've given. There are so many examples around the environment. Just go around. You pick them and then you do what? You write them. There are some things in your house like television. Is television a living thing or not a living thing? You can say television is talking, but it's a non-living thing. It talks. It's not that it's the sound that comes out of the TV that you are hearing. TV has no mouth to talk. Then you can say is water a living thing or a non-living thing? The water is flowing. There's no life in it. It's a non-living thing. So search around, you see so many examples of these living things and non-living things that I have not mentioned. Then you can now write it down. You can tabulate your answers. So this is the end of our lesson. And today we have talked about living things and non-living things. We talked about plant as a living thing, animal as a living thing. And we talked about the reasons why they are living and the reasons why they are not living. And we also talk about non-living things. So we have come to the end of today's lesson. See you same time, same station. Thank you.
Thank you.